stay very in touch there with the LFM organization, and that's one of my themes that I'm going to talk about tonight for you guys, the importance of it. And actually, to be honest with you, it's only when I was reached out to by one of your class of 2010, Charles, who sent me an email or sent me a note on Facebook that I realized how kind of out of touch I had gotten with the organization and how that is such a bad thing. So I'm going to talk a little bit about don't do what I did kind of thing and ask you guys, give you guys some advice as it relates to alumni. So what I have here, and I'm excited to know that you guys as well are taking System Dynamics, because System Dynamics is my absolute favorite class, as a lot of people say. And it was actually very useful. I find myself drawing causal loop diagrams, and I try to explain them to a lot of people, and their eyes kind of roll back in their head, and they tend to fall asleep. So the fact that many of you have taken the class, are going to take the class, is great. So you'll follow this. What I have here is a positive reinforcing loop as it relates to System Dynamics. And if you haven't taken it, don't worry, it's pretty straightforward stuff. I'm going to start at the top of it, which relates to knowledge. What I've listed here are a bunch of opportunities that you can, as alumni, continue to grow your knowledge. I mean, this I talked about today is a huge fishbowl of learning that you guys are just immersed in learning and learning and learning. But the learning doesn't end when you graduate. So obviously, when you get in industry, you practice the learning. But it's very, very important to keep up with the academia knowledge, the research, hearing the talks by Professor Huang, and understanding what's going on in academia. So these are some of the things that we do, at least in LGO, to do that. This is a picture of Florida. This is where we had the last alumni conference in 2010. And as you can see, Florida's a lot warmer than Shanghai. And I didn't actually get to go this. I was making breaks at the time, but many did, and it was supposed to be a very good conference that's held every year. We get together. A lot of people look at it as a kind of a networking event. I actually look at it as knowledge, because it's 2 to 3 days, and you bring a lot of speakers, and it's just really interesting to get away from work and actually kind of immerse yourself in the whole knowledge side of things. There's a lot of other opportunities that I relate here in terms of alumni continuing to stay in touch with the organization, whether it's in MIT or it's here in Shanghai, being part of the operating committees. There's a host of online seminars. I talked to Josh about becoming an alumni mentor. I didn't know that opportunity was there, but that's a great way. And a lot of people look at mentors as kind of one-way relationships. I look at it as a very two-way relationship. In fact, all of the mentees that I've had, I've learned more from, I think, than they've learned from me. So I'm really looking forward to that opportunity to use the new graduates and the people in the class as ways of increasing my own knowledge. So again, one of the things that I encourage you guys all to do is increase your knowledge. What does knowledge do? Well, if you increase your knowledge, you become excellent, right? So again, I talked a little today about excellence. And I'm going to share a story as it relates to Allied Signal, which was a former company before it became Honeywell or merged with Honeywell. Of what happened to me when I was participating in on-campus recruiting. One of the alumni of LFM went on and took a very prominent role with Allied Signal. His name was Jeff Wilkie. He's now with Amazon, and he's also part of the LGO governing board. Jeff took a very personal interest, and as he always has, in LGO, LFM, and realized that he had a couple people working for Allied Signal, but they weren't really getting the benefit of LFM. So he got actively involved, came to campus many times, and then during the recruiting session, it was great. For the people that were interested in interviewing with Allied Signal, he got Larry Bossidy, who was the CEO at the time, his corporate jet. This is probably not his jet, but it was a Gulfstream 5 jet. He flew it out to Boston. He picked up the people that were interviewing and flew them back to Morristown, New Jersey, which is where the headquarters were for the interviews. Riding on a private jet is not something I get to do every day. In fact, that was the only time I've ever ridden on a private jet. And it certainly made a big impression for the organization. So really what Jeff demonstrated there was not so much the fact that it was Larry's dead, but he really valued excellence, and as a result of it, made the effort, put the energy in to try to attract the best people. He didn't get me, but he did get 3 of my classmates, and actually two of them are still with Honeywell now. So as alumni, again, you know, the importance of staying close to this organization is that, like the industry partners that mentioned here, you are grabbing excellence, you're trying to get excellence, and this is a way to get the excellence that you can. I encourage you, in addition to doing campus recruiting, because campus recruiting is something that I did for Ford for many years, and again, it's a way of continuing to get more and more of you, which is more value to your company. Participating in other things like business school roadshows Sloan has. Really getting the word out about the program so that you can have more alumni like yourselves that are either working for you or working with you in your companies. Again, in the concept of driving excellence. Obviously, doing missions interviews and obviously company partnerships are very, very important and really the kind of the heart of this. So continue to drive excellence as alumni. If you increase knowledge and you increase, the excellence of your company, what relates here is the network. And I talked about a little bit more about that. Is the value of the network that you have as alumni is fantastic, and it's really fantastic because you have a bunch of excellent people in the network. So it really is a reinforcing loop. You have very smart people. You continue to grow your smarts, and then everyone becomes excellent, and then you develop this network amongst yourselves. I've got a picture here. This is actually a picture of one of my classmates. He goes by the name of Cookie. His name is Cookie Cook. It's a little more funnier in English, but that's what he goes by, Cookie. This is kind of funny. But anyhow, when I came to LFM, Cookie was one of the first people that I met. And I was introduced to this guy. And how many people here have seen Top Gun? Top Gun? I did sort of make it to China? All right. Well, Top Gun was really cool back in the late 80s when it came out for me. I never really wanted to be a pilot, but this movie was about people that, essentially these very cool people that landed these very heavy, big airplanes on aircraft carriers. And it just, the adrenaline of the movie, the machoism of the movie was very cool and resonated with a lot of people. And in fact, I think they said that the applications to the Navy Flight School went up like 89% or something like that the year after the movie came out. Well, I was introduced to Cookie here, and he was actually one of those pilots who landed these big airplanes on aircraft carriers. And I thought, man, how cool is this? You talk about excellence, man. I'm actually meeting somebody whose job it was to land these things. And he actually showed me a video of him landing at night. Anyhow, I go off, but it was great. So I was immediately excited by the fact that my classmates were excellent and that I was part of this network of excellence. But it went more than that, right? What I have here is a picture of his Christmas card. This is his Christmas card here. As alumni, what we did is we have a distribution for everyone's emails, and people send out their Christmas cards every year. So, I graduated in 1998. For the last 12 years, I've gotten to see Cookie and his family grow up. And I remember Alexis, she's 15 right now. She was just born when we started the LGO conference, so she obviously doesn't remember me. But I remember her, and I've seen her life actually grow for the last years. So, I mean, it's more than just a network of people. It's really what I say here is a family. I've gotten to know Cookie and his family here. Again, it goes beyond just the email. This picture actually that they took, they were renewing their vows in Lake Placid. Cookie has a summer home up in Lake Placid, and he invited a bunch of alumni one year to go to his cabin. So there was about 6 of us that decided to go, and we went up there and had a wonderful time. So this picture is the church that's right down the way of where we actually got to spend time together. So again, it goes beyond just that. It's social, it's vacations in terms of the alumni network that you stay together with. Lastly, job opportunities. I mean, obviously that's important, right? But I can honestly say that every one of my jobs, and I counted them for the pro seminar today, I've had 7 jobs now already in my career. Every one of them after LGO was a result of some connection to business school. It may not have been direct, may have been a friend of an alum or a friend of a colleague, but there was some relation. I've never gotten a job from a headhunter. I've never gotten a job posting on, answering an internet ad or job board. It's all been through connections. Maybe I'm abnormal because I'm 100% that way, but most people say that it really is the networks that help you with your jobs. So again, the value of the network is immeasurable. Before I explain what this little thing over here is, again, I want to reinforce to you that this positive reinforcing loop that happens here doesn't just happen on its own. In fact, one thing they teach in system dynamics is that every reinforcing loop has a balancing loop that kind of dissipates energy. So the real key for you guys, for all of you, is the key is to put energy into it, because this doesn't just happen alone, right? Cookie inviting me over to his house takes a lot of energy because he's got to entertain 6 people. Flying us all out to Morristown, New Jersey takes a lot of energy, and actually takes a lot of chutzpah. If you ask me to ask the CEO if you can borrow his plane for the weekend. All of these knowledge, setting up these conferences, takes a lot of energy. And I was really, really especially excited to see all of your light show, because we could have never done that. I mean, my class would have never done that. You guys, I know how hard you're working right now, and actually to be able to choreograph something like that is fantastic, and is kind of the epitome of energy. So if you can take that energy and keep it while you're alumni, then you're going to be excellent. It's going to be wonderful, and you'll benefit, and the organization will benefit as well. So that relates to that. The last thing is here. This is actually a picture of my house, or my house is located right here in North America. Detroit is right here. I live in a suburb of Detroit. I'm actually going to be heading back to the United States for my next job within TRW in a couple weeks. And so related to this, right, related to the network, I need to ask you guys all a favor, right? Because I need your knowledge. So when you come to, next time you're in Detroit, if you ever show up in Detroit, please send me an email, please give me a call, because I have a fantastic Shanghainese restaurant just down the street from me. And I've gone with some of my Chinese friends, but I can't go alone because the menu's only in Chinese. So when you come to Detroit, I need your knowledge, right? We can network. I need your knowledge, and let's go have some dinner. So thank you very much.